Hello, happy Saturday night. How's everybody doing here in the interwebs? and just hanging out. I kind of was thinking I wouldn't do a stream tonight, but what can I say? I just changed my mind. Had a few things I wanted to do. Maybe a short stream, maybe not. I don't know. Depends up to you guys. Depends how ranty I get. But I wanted to thank you, everybody, for being here. That means the chatters, as well as the replay folks. I wanted to leave that one up, the last stream up, the one on positivity. I think that was a pretty good stream. It was one of those that you could play again and over again. I should probably play it back to myself occasionally, right? Because I'm preaching, right? But I'm preaching to myself half the time. So I figure what's interesting to me may be interesting to you. And that's why I thought I would do these things. So how do you like? Look at all the books up here. Isn't that fun? It's exciting. Thank you guys for buying all the books. I should put my little banner up here, right? There you go. I don't know. So let's see. Hey, Valhalla, good to see you. And a book orders. Okay, so first announcement is Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog. It may be not next Wednesday. It may be the following Wednesday. I hate to say that, but my shipper, my printer, this is all hardcovers, right? So I ordered all hardcovers, and it takes a lot longer for them to print hardcovers, evidently. And I'm going on vacation next week, so they may be coming in on the last day or the first day of my vacation. So, and I can't tell my house sitter to pack them up, right? That wouldn't be very cool. or ship them out or do whatever they're going to do. Anyway, so it might be the following week, but it will be there. I don't know. It'll get to you. Don't worry. They're coming. Supposedly they'll be shipped from the printer in Ohio on Monday. So if they get here by Thursday morning, we should be good. So let's say who's here. Is anybody over in Rumble? Hello, Rumbles. You guys going? Or watching? Okay, well, you got a few watchers. Okay, it's been quieting down. I guess we need to do it. Oh, Jason, you ordered Summer Friend? Excellent. Thank you very much, Jason. Yeah, so Nacho Kitty's here. Good to see you. And Float Plain Nuts. I like that. That's a cool. Plaid Child and Rush 298. Is Rush, does that mean the band Rush or Rush Limbaugh? Either one is cool, but I'd like to know. Clarify for me, Mr. Rush. So let's see. Good to see you in Rumbles. And then, of course, we have Danielle here. And hey, Steve Ghazi's in chat. See if he'll come on. Send him a link. John and Just Dawn, Audio Wizard. Let's see here. Tia. Good to see you, Tia. As always, my reliable Tia. Jason J. Valhalla. KLI. Boy, look at everybody's piling in here. Good to see you. Freedom Ring. Let freedom ring. Kathy Trout from Nevada. Kathy from Nevada. You're a female fan of Rush? Boy, I do have some unicorns in that you are treasured. I'll tell you a good female strategy is go to Rush concerts because you'll be like the only woman there. Kia, let's see who else. Shizzy's here. And good to see you, Shizzy. And Marloka. I don't know. Yes, Nacho Kitty likes Rush. Okay, see there, Rush is, the girls are getting, nowadays when I was growing up, it was like this divide, right? But now, girls are into like Star Wars and all in video games and Rush and all in metal. I go to metal shows and I see a lot more chicks. Oh, hi, Eileen. Boy, everybody, thank you for showing up. I got some interesting stuff tonight. And so the first thing, just to get it out of the way, because it's the title of the thing, so I will be in West Virginia, in Charleston, West Virginia. And so I'm going to do a meet and greet at 8 o'clock at the Hampton Inn. So if you want to meet up in Charleston just to say hello, I'll be there at 8 o'clock in the bar, of course, for you guys, at the Hampton Inn in Charleston. Now, I would ask, is Jay Liebgott here? Oh, yeah, Jay is. Okay, Jay Liebgott. He loves me saying his name. And it's a cool name, I must say. So, yes, if you want to come and hang out and just talk and sit down and have a drink, come to Charleston, West Virginia on Monday. Well, let's see. Let me go over here and find out exactly when it is. Coming up. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. If you are thinking about coming, email me. That's it. Just email me. Because if I don't get an email from you, then there's no guarantees I'll be there. But if you email me, at least one, then I will be there for you. How's that? Is that cool? And I'll show you how to do it, okay? So here's my, let me see, here it is. Okay, so here's my little thingy. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. And if you go up here, see the events, there it is. Meet and greet, Charleston, West Virginia, Monday, November 20th, 8 p.m. Send me an email on the contacts page if you're coming. No email means no guarantee I'll be there. I'll probably be there anyway, just because I'm going to be at the hotel. I'm going to be hanging out. And I'll see you at the bar, Hampton Inn Charleston-Southridge. And here's the address. Got it? Okay. You got it. So that's kind of fun. But we got more stuff. I had some other stuff I wanted to tell you about. Jacob Castro here. Look, everybody's piling in. Dwebby, 89. Hi, how are you? Yes, I've pre-ordered. Okay, so Rush says I want to chat with you too. I've got some things we're going to cover, but we're here for you too. So if you want to chat, just line them up and throw them down, and I'll respond to you because I read my chats. A lot of these streamer people don't read their chats. I'm looking at you, Joe. And looking forward to Getty's new book and show coming up soon. I'm 50, so a little old school, but I love all their albums. Never a better lyricist than Neil. I like their albums up through, I'd say, Power Windows. I'd say up to after that, it's really hard for me to access Rush. Some that have got some good songs and stuff, but I kind of like them. And I didn't really like Power Windows. I thought Signals was their last good album, but then I listened back and Grace Under Pressure and Grace Under Pressure is what I mean. Grace Under Pressure, I like that album. I didn't like it when it came out, but I've listened and I like it more. Yeah, Joe only ignores the ghetto. Okay, and here's the thing. Steve, serious question. If you were contacted by a state that has the death penalty and it was an appeal, would you consult? Are you saying, would I work for the state to seek the death penalty? And the answer to that is no. All right. I would work on a capital case and tell them they shouldn't do it. And I'd give them all the reasons, but the answer is no on that. And it's kind of sucks because it limits my employability that the state pays more money. And I've only recently arrived at that. If you'd asked me that 15 years ago, I was in line to be a prosecutor, death penalty qualified prosecutor. That was my goal. And I was favored by the administration to do that. So, but God had different plans, and I listened to God. When he speaks, you listen to him. You know, I didn't listen to him a couple times, and it's like, no, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I'm going to do what I want. I want to do what I think. And then after a while, he's going to say, now you better listen to me or I'll make it harder. And he was gentle with me. I will say in the scheme of things, he was gentle, but eventually I heard, and once you hear, you can't really say no. Right. So, okay. Plaid Child, Charleston's my hometown. Make sure you get a pepperoni roll while you're here. Absolutely. I have a very good friend, one of my closest friends who lives in West Virginia that I'm visiting for Thanksgiving. And, she works for the legislature in Charleston, and I will spend a night in Charleston just to hang. And yeah, I'm going to see Valhalla Awaits too in Tennessee for lunch. Right? Are we going to hang? Let's see who else we got. Nick Ricada, you were in chat late last night. We're on a similar schedule. Who's that? What's that? So thank you, Jason J. Very good question. And I know it's hard. And I'll tell you, it's hard to. One of the things I noticed is when I was first started streaming, I love the chat because I'm a chatter, right? I like the chat and I like to go in other people's chat. And I don't really want to come on their show. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just like playing and chat and listening and being the chatter, right? And but I noticed when I first started streaming and I'd watch back, I'd watch it one time just to make sure it was cool and I didn't need to delete anything, right? I'm now trusting myself better that I'm pretty disciplined, but you never know what you say while you're on here. It's live and there's no record. It's let it fly. But I noticed that I did get distracted by chat, and it would be, I like it so much that it would divert my attention. And some of those streams I don't think were as good as they could have been. So Excited Utterance is here. Thank you. Good to see you. What's the good word? Well, the good word is if you're in Charleston, West Virginia, why don't we come out and come by and let's have a drink at the bar on Monday, November 20th, and email me. All right, so I got some more stuff, and I need your good advice, okay? And that is, I got contacted, and I'll tell you, look, somebody sent me some real cash, and they want me to invest in their company. And so, but it's a foreign company, so, but I'm not sure. But look, they sent me a real bit of cash here, so it's got to be true, right? So this is, I don't know how much that's worth, but it might be worth a lot of money. So I'm thinking, it might be a really good investment for all of my book sale proceeds. What do you think? It's a Nigerian company. I don't know. Maybe you can just contact me if you think it's a good idea. They say I can make a lot of money, and I believe everything that people call and tell me. So Nigeria, I'm on my way. Okay, some more some more stuff. Bella the Bayou, why are you so late? Yes, I hear he's royal. He is a prince. That's right, amateur iconoclast. How did you know? Maybe you might have the same contact. I don't know. Let's see. I have some more stuff for you. And this is completely, see, now we're into the fun part, right? So I really enjoyed my positivity stream. I thought it was really, I put it together. I thought about what I should say and how long. I didn't want to make it too long. Didn't want to make it too short. I wanted to give you some food for positivity, right? And I was thinking about it. Well, let's see. Sonny Tanner says, "Hi, Steve. Hi. Just returned from Tallahassee. When I passed the state Supreme Court, I thought of you. Oh, that's nice. I know you've been there, RU case law. Yeah, been there a few times. I think 4 times. I forget. And I'm going to have a death penalty case coming up there pretty soon that I'm going to have to orally argue. So I'll be up there again. You can watch me live. I'll tell you when that happens. So I was thinking about it, and I wanted to follow up a little bit. And this isn't too expansive a thought, but it's a little bit of thought, and it has to do with prepare. And I wrote this book is basically my philosophy. It's a handbook for life. It says it's a handbook for individual freedom, but it's sort of like it's a deep dive into how I think and based on my pursuit of truth and desire for individual freedom, thinking that having a value of placing a very high value on individual freedom and a very high value on truth, right? And kind of pursuing those goals has been, I've sort of narrowed down kind of the main things that really drive me. And those are things that drive me. So I wrote Prepare for that basis. Now, it's kind of an interesting assemblage of book. But as I was talking about that, I don't know who here has read this, but I know Danielle has. You're here, right? So this little chart right here, okay? This little chart. And this little chart is kind of a life chart. And I like to visualize life this way, or at least it's a good thing for us to think about. And this does relate back to our positivity stream that we did last time. Well, Jacob, of course, I'm a rumbler, right? It's a bell curve, right? It's a bell curve. But like now, Tia, if you don't have Prepare, you should buy Prepare. You definitely should get it. It's only available for me, but Excited Utterance, thank you very much. I'm out of money today, but thank you for the stream. Well, thank you, Excited Utterance. Well, it's my pleasure. And you made my day when you said it touched you. And I do. That's what I do these things for. Okay, but Tia, I'm going to explain, but you need to read the book because the book explains it in full. But this is the thing. Okay, we all have a birth and we all have a death, right? and we are all traveling in this direction from birth to death. We are all in the same life cycle, right? This little period is probably 100 years or maybe 80 years, 100 if we're lucky, 80 if we're about average, or 77. And then the arc here is when we're born, and then we go when we die, right? Now, this is an optimal thing. What happens is we grow, we are not fully in control of ourselves, right? We're unconscious. When we're children, we kind of act irrationally. We're emotion driven. We're not in control of ourselves. We throw temper tantrums. Our mom and dad are in charge. We're not really free, right? But at some point, we hope to achieve adulthood. And in an ideal world, we pass through that line of consciousness, of control, of self-discipline, a point at which we enter into the ability to be free and to make our own decisions as adults. Now, we may pass below that line at the end of our life when we become senile and bedridden and hospitalized, right? So we only have this small window of gray here during our lifetime in which to exert our own will and control and make our own choices, right? So that is the period of time that we need to maximize as human individuals, okay? Who's handsome? Well, you are. Okay, so, and in fact, if you get the whole, like the book here, the page with my friend Derek, this is really the idea of this book is the Maslow hierarchy of needs over time. That's the concept of the individual that the book is runners around, right? So here's where that relates back to the positivity, because I've talked to some people who are down and depressed, and we watched these videos about people that that are really poor, that are in tyrannical situations in countries that are fleeing their country, that are hungry and maybe incarcerated, or there's all sorts of videos on the internets and the webs in which we can observe people who are in very dire straits. Okay. Now, and yet in the United States here, we have a very wealthy country. We have a lot. Now, we do have a lot of failings, and we've talked about that, but let's talk about what we have a lot, all right? But yet there's a lot of people that get themselves down. They're down. And why is that? And some of those people have a lot. They may be, they might be married and have kids and have money, and they have it all, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Now, why is it not enough? Okay, and what is it that they want? See, this is the key, and it goes back to kind of humility and expectation. I touched on this on the positivity stream, because expectation, like when I go to a movie and I have great expectations and it's a good movie, then I'm like, oh, okay, good movie. But if I have low expectations, I go to a movie, I'm like, oh, that was great, right? It's only when you get disappointed when you go in when you have high expectations. And I'm not kind of saying, well, don't expect anything like that, but you do need to manage your expectations. And part of that is understanding what life can give you and what it cannot. And this is where that arc of the Maslow hierarchy of needs and the arc of time. Okay, like if you have that moment, if you have that time in the gray zone, if you are, if you've got a loving relationship, if you've got beautiful children, if you've got health, be thankful for the things that you have. Recognize that it's limited what you have. All right. If you're a beautiful young lady, you get married to a good guy and have great number of kids, and they're great kids, right? But then all of a sudden now you're hitting 45 and 50, and you're getting older, and you're losing your looks and the popularity and stuff. And now, okay, maybe those things, now it's like I'm depressed and I'm angry because I want my youth back. Just using it. Or I want something that, well, what is it that you want? I mean, life has given you so many good cards and you should be happy. It's like, understand that that's life's limitations. We're all passing through life and that it is that arc of life. Or if we're, if we're a man, we get a beautiful wife and we have beautiful children and, you've had a, relatively healthy life and you start getting older and you're going, it's all of a sudden they get the wandering eye, like, oh, I want this woman or I want this better looking woman. And they start, or I want more money or I want this or I want that or whatever you want. All of a sudden these wants are driving in. It's like, well, wait a second now. You've been given so much and yet you want more, right? It's like we're not God. We're human beings and we only have a limited time in our life. And those things that we're given, we should just be, that's precious. Those are precious gifts. Not everybody gets that time in the gray zone, the little arc that I'm talking about, right? Not everybody has that. Like, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay. And this is Prepare again. And Prepare is the personal book that I really, okay. Like, and I'm telling you, and I'll try to talk without getting choked up here. My friend Derek. Okay. There's my friend Derek with his wonderful daughter, Anna. I love Anna. I love Derek. And Derek passed away when Anna was 3 years old. And this is what I call a tragedy. And I use this like this illustration. A tragedy, this is a tragedy. This is an infant or a child, a teenager who never makes it above the line, never has that period of independence, right? Or somebody whose life is cut short by an auto accident, right? Who's living a beautiful life or gets cancer and dies young, like my friend Derek, age 37, leaving behind a beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter. He was a successful lawyer. He was a good man. He had great friends. He impacted so many people. My son's godfather named his child Derek. My godson, his child is my godson. His name is Derek. And Alicia, who is Derek's widow, remarried, had I think 4 children, and named one of her daughters after my friend Chris's wife. I mean, and he's had an impact on so many people. So did he have a life worth living? It's to be celebrated. He had time above this curve. It was cut short, and we mourn for the loss that we made. We mourn for what we don't have, the potential. But ultimately, we all pass through this life. We all end at some point. And we need to reconcile ourselves for that. Now, we don't like to think about it, especially in the United States, because we insulate ourselves from talking about death, the end, that we're mortal, right? But okay, yes, that's good, because then it's not a cloud. I'm not thinking about darkness, right? But having an understanding of darkness also allows us to manage expectations. Because when we don't talk about it, we don't think about it, it's like, oh, it doesn't even exist. Then my expectations can run wild. I can do whatever I want. I can be anything I want. And life is endless. And I can do, I can be this, right? You see, you understand what I'm saying? See how it relates? Is over expecting from God or from life. Let's leave God out of this. Over expecting from life can cause you misery and cause you to make very bad decisions and disrupt what has been given that's been good to you. The things that have been good to you and the things that have been given to you, we need to be thankful for. All right? Does that make sense? And think about all the things you had. We talked about this earlier in my positivity stream, is you need to go through and count. In fact, I didn't give proper credit to this card thing that I got. The positivity live stream. Let me see. Positive. Let me see. It's what is it? This one? Well, I got these cards from positivity cards. I use them in their little flashcards, and I think it's actually for kids who have ADHD, and but they're little positivity flashcards, and I used a few of the quotes, and you get a whole stack of them, and you order. I bought them, so gosh, I want to give credit to the company, but anyway, um, but we can use that. You don't need to have ADHD to remind yourself of the things that have been given to you. Even if you don't have, like, somebody, okay, they get a leg blown off in Iraq, right? Man, your life must be terrible, man. You got a leg blown off in Iraq, right? That person's a happy person because they come back and they're living life. Now, it sucks. They'd rather have the leg, but they've got time above that curve. They've got freedom. They have life to live. McCrae, I'm sad to hear that, and I'm going to have Megan on. I will try to. Megan is a joy, so I'll try to do that. So, is it Mick Ray? Yes. Well, sometimes those people, feel free to send my positivity stream whoever needs it. I did that as sort of something that you can go back to. All right, I have another topic. All right, do we got that topic in hand? All right, so Tia, get prepared. I'm probably going to be ordering a new bunch of books and with a new cover. My buddy Grok, who did Death Penalty Debates and The Summer Friend, the covers, also redid this book cover. And so my next one will have a new cover on it. There's only about 10 of these left over here, so I do need to reorder them. Yeah, okay, Valhalla, he knows. I mean, you've got buddies that worked in Iraq, right? All right, let's see. I got another topic, and we're just talking. It's all like time flies when we're having fun. Isn't this fun? Tia, you need to go back and read. Tia, you're missing so much. Tia, Nina, come on, go back and watch the positivity stream. That was a good one. We need to learn how to like peg that. Like, what they'd say, like pin it. I can't do any of this stuff. All right. So being thankful, Royal Wolf, 7. No. It's my friend is wonderful and it's nothing but positive, and I am happy can be that he's in my life. He's like throughout my books, and he is part of me, and it was a wonderful thing. So let's see. I wanted to give you a couple. This is one little random tip, and then I have a whole like big yellow sticky full of cool stuff here. So I'm going to talk about in a second, but let me get this one out of the way because it's easier and low hanging fruit. And that is that we like to travel. Did I tell you I was going to be in Charleston, West Virginia on November 20th, Monday at 8 p.m. Hampton Inn. Send me an email if you want to come. All right. It's email available. Go to stevegosney.com. I just change this banner thing. That's annoying. Okay. Let me see. Oh, here it is. So we like to travel and we go see our friends. I'm trying to, see our friends and see family, right? But sometimes like the wife and I will just take off and we'll go on a vacation, a little mini vacation somewhere. The thing is being in Florida sucks because getting out of Florida takes like a whole day. And then going anywhere, it's like we've covered the whole South. And getting anywhere outside of the South is almost impossible. It takes you so long to drive, and I hate airlines. Ugh. I mean, if I was someplace like in Kansas, then I could just go anywhere. I mean, I'd be like, I'd go that way and that way and that way and that way. I mean, it'd be like right in the middle of the country and beautiful Kansas weather. I don't know, something like that. I'm just dreaming. Oklahoma. We went to Oklahoma once and went to on the east side of Oklahoma, which has actually got mountains. Quite nice. So here's a tip though, and it's kind of because it's hard. Traveling's expensive, right? Now I just hate. Hunch the Dirty Roofer, Southwest Florida, going to be there till December. Oh, you lunch? You don't owe me at lunch. You're wonderful. Come back up here. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? We'll have you over for Thanksgiving. Give me an email. Let's see. Valhalla, we're time noon. You know where at noon on What day? Tuesday, right? Okay. So here's the tip, and this was the Oklahoma trip that my wife and I did, and no matter how much it's like not enough. We need to travel more. We need to do more. But sometimes we'll go to Allegiant, and Allegiant is like the cheap airline, and we'll find like what's the furthest this place will fly, nonstop, one way, there and back. We can get like a ticket for like $50, and then you're just dealing with lodging because travel's the most thing. So if we'll just get, so we said, okay, Oklahoma. I've never been to Oklahoma. I don't know what's there, but there's good people there and there's fun stuff and there's a good bed and breakfast and there's, mountains because we love mountains being from Florida, right? So I will highly recommend if you want to try a cool little thing. We went to Maine and I went to see Acadia National Park and then we drove across the border over to Quebec City. And that was a cool trip. And that was because the Legion flew there, Sanford to Maine and Sanford to Oklahoma City, So we're flying out of Sanford for like $50 a ticket, and it's great, And then you can get a nice hotel and fly back, and take a 5-day vacation or whatever, and it's a lot cheaper than buying gas. You're not driving. Being from Florida, this works for me. I will just say, and it gets you out of your locale. I mean, the South. I've been to every place all over the South so many times and all over Florida. If you ever want to come to Florida, ask me and I'll tell you where to go. Find a good places to go to. All right. So that's a little random tip. Okay. Next. Well, we can talk since we're talking travel. Another thing. Okay. Let's talk about here. Okay. I am in this little world of law streamers, right? I guess. And I got into it from, Andrew Branca and Nick Rekieta kind of sucked me into their little world. And then I got to meet really cool people like Legal Vices, Jeff of Legal Vices, and Joe of Good Logic. I love those guys. They're great people. And Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's where I went there. That was great. Wilbur by the Sea is a real town. Yeah, that's right down. That's in my county for sure, Sonny. So we have law streamers, right? Those are the people that are kind of like, I guess, within the realm. I guess there's Sean, potentially criminal, but there's this kind of this group of people that stream law, right? There's Shizzy and Expert. There's that little group over there, and who else law streams? That the lawyer, nice guy. But I don't want, so there's a Law and Lumber. There's that Law and Lumber fellow. So there's kind of like all of these law streamer people in this world that I kind of inhabit, right? And I go on there, they kind of know me, I know them, and I have stuff to say. I try not to comment when I don't have something to say. If I'm on there, it's a Florida criminal case. A Florida criminal case, I could talk all day, right? But here's the thing. There's a lot more to the world than that. Now, you guys are interested in that, and I got it, and I've written books for you, and I'm there. I'm going to do the law streams in the past and in the future, so don't worry about that. But I have a list of other channels that are cool that I want to share with you. And you get your pencil out? Got your pencil? Give me something to write on, man. You got it? Because I'm going to give you, well, you can, this is recorded, you can always replay, but I'm going to give you a bunch of things that I watch that are not, see, one of the advantages of being me is I am not involved in a lot of this drama or a lot of this stuff. I don't even know what's going on in the world half the time. I mean, I kind of really pick and choose. Now, sometimes I'm very judicious on what I pick and what I watch. And sometimes, like, what do I do when I don't want to watch anything that's like news or law related? Because that's news and law related. I don't want to see that stuff sometimes. Here, hold on. I have to chat. Hey, look, Roseland Duke. the Duke boys. Hi there. Haven't caught a live in a minute. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for showing up live. Yes. So today we're just talking, we're hanging out, but I've got a list of non-law channels that I would recommend. These are ones that I really like, that I watch, and we're going to talk about each one. This is a bonus round. See, you thought you were just coming here to get promoted to come to Charleston, West Virginia, but no, we're going to talk about cool law. All right, first swing is travel. And we were just talking about travel, right? Okay, so we like to travel. We like to go to West Virginia. I love West Virginian people, great people. And then also we like the Allegiant travel tip. That's a pretty good tip for cheap vacations, right? For us cheapsters. But I'm going to talk about some travel channels. You can also watch travel channels, and that's what my wife and I like to do. Is we like to watch travel channels. And number one on the list is a guy named Harold Baldr. Has anybody heard of Harold Baldr? He's the Northman. He's from Norway, and he is funny, and he's really a great travel blogger. His travel blogs are like an hour, so it's like you can watch a show of him. He goes to Nepal. He's been to the Philippines. He goes to India, and he's got a great kind of subtle sense of humor. He has a charity that he runs in Nepal where they treat children with cancer, and he's been involved with that. There's a fellow that he's got in contact with. He's a very neat guy, and it's fun to just kind of adventure with him. He has a lot of little things that you can do that are little things that, like, if you're in his channel, he's got a lot of followers. He's a big channel, but Harold Baldr, it's Harold, Harold, Harold Baldr, Baldr. You can say The Northman Returns. I highly recommend him, and watch his. He'll do a series in a country, like he'll be in the film, and it's funny because he doesn't really know the language, so he'll go in there, he'll just speak English, and then the people will try to communicate with him, and he'll translate it. It's a mistranslation, and then you ever seen the movie Lost in Translation? If you like, I love that movie. That movie with Bill Murray is great, where they're talking. That's what his whole shtick is, that, and he has a lot of funny characters that appear. So check out Harold Baldr. Okay, that's my first recommendation. My next recommendation is a Baldr adjacent guy named Bald and Bankrupt. Bald and Bankrupt is a see, Matt, you got it. Matt Grizzly got it right off the bat. Bald and Bankrupt is really good. Now, he speaks fluent Russian, and he used to travel all over Russia and do Soviet takes. He also is very good, but he's much more of a linguist than Harold is. And it's funny because he will go to the worst areas in the world. Like, this is the most dangerous neighborhood in the most dangerous country in the world. So he'll go there. And then and then he'll hang out with the people and talk and just sort of break bread. Really great stuff. And one of these things, he actually caused an international incident when he went and found the Soviet Buran space shuttles that were at the Cosmodrome that are still locked up in the shed, trespassed on this old Soviet storage facility and got to walk around the shed. That's an amazing stream. So if you just want to see one, it's an adventure, and it's a long commitment. I mean, these are like hour-long shows. But yes, and we just got done, Matt. The reason this came up is because we just got done watching that. He is now going through the Darien Gap. So he's going from Venezuela to the United States border by walking, following all the migrants who are fleeing Venezuela, and following this pathway and seeing how, I mean, it is crazy stuff what he does, but really good, really fascinating. Like, sleeping in a tent with the migrants in the jungle for 5 days as they're walking and hiking. It's crazy stuff, but really interesting. I mean, it's like, and it makes you appreciate, I'm at home, like that video. Here I am in my beautiful home, my beautiful wife, my son, air conditioned, my job, my nice Subaru. And I'm thinking, like, life is pretty good, right? It makes you appreciate what you have. Not that's the only reason, but I mean, it's also wonderful to see people are very happy and welcoming and loving throughout the world. So many times we get divided, right? This division in the world, but there's a lot of good people here. So thumbs up, right? And I am deleting you forever, Mr. Anti-Semite. Okay, so we had a Rumbler who was posting something that was not nice, and I don't, and I don't ban many people, that, but don't bring that stuff over here. I love my brother, and I love people around us, right? And we should love each other, hold out, our brethren. This divide and conquer, division, getting everybody. That's the elites are using division to empower themselves. We shouldn't buy into that as individuals. If we want freedom, don't buy into hate. Don't buy into division. And that's so many times. I don't know how to make a mod on Rumble, Tia, so I don't know. Okay, so another one. So I've got Harold Baldr, Bald and Bankrupt. Okay, here's another escape, which is Cecilia Blomdahl, Blomdahl. And she lives in a place called Svalbard. Does anybody know who Svalbard is? Svalbard is the northernmost town in the world, I think. I think that's true. And it's part of Scandinavia. It's in these islands that are basically near the North Pole. I think it's closer to the North Pole than it is to Norway. And so she lives on this tiny little. Oh, you ever heard of the seed vault, like the apocalyptic seed vault, right? Well, that is in Svalbard. That's one of the things they do, right? And she is. I say she's a little bit annoying, but she has one of the greatest dogs in all of the internet. His name is Grim. And you think, oh yeah, Grim, right? That's going to be a son. But it's this husky, and he's so happy, and he wags his tail, and he's just wanting to please. I could just watch Grim all day. And she's got this great camera and this beautiful Arctic scenery, this little cabin that overlooks the water and the mountains and the snow and the northern lights. And her camera work is spectacular. And that's about as far away from Florida as you can get, right? But you can live her life, and she's really open. She's got a really nice, I don't know if he's a boyfriend, a significant other, right? Who's really quiet. He hardly speaks, like, yes, but he's super cool, and he cooks, and it's quite an interesting channel just to like kind of relax. Just go up to this North Pole, Northern Lights. And it's funny because here they are in Svalbard, which is in the middle of nowhere, no people, nothing, snow, tundra. And it's funny because they go on little mini vacations, and they say, we got to get away. And they go into a cabin, like a day's snowmobile ride into the tundra so that they can go into this isolated cabin because they got to get away from the people, right? It's pretty funny. So Just Joy, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. So that's the next one. Okay, we got more. Eva Zubek is another one we follow. And again, they're like Bald and Bankrupt and Harold. You definitely need to check out these next two. It depends. Might not be your taste. I'm sure she's a big lefty flower child, right? But she puts together. She's like a really interesting solo female who gets in this truck. What's it called? An Odyssey, some kind of English truck or something. And it's like a camper van. And she's driven all over the country, up to Alaska, down to Mexico, and all over the world. Really, really kind of a fascinating. Yeah, she got kicked out. She got deported back to the EU. She wanted to, like me, have a big piece of land in the middle out west and a cabin and all, right? But then she checked out the prices of American real estate and she said, well, that ain't gonna work. Well, anyway, but she has a dog also, but she's actually quite a good narrator, and I like it because she gets and talks with the people, the American people. She really shows a side. It's like being a tourist in America and seeing these small towns out west. And she has kind of a nice attitude towards life. Yeah, she's a lefty flower child, absolutely. But The thing is I'm not divided. Doesn't mean I don't like her. Just don't vote that way. Don't vote. Which thankfully she's a European, so I think she's a European. I don't know. I don't know where she's from. Where did we deport her to? Anyway, that's a good question. I think it was England. But anyway, it's worthwhile. Okay, and then there's another one, which is this is a little different. It's called World According to Briggs. Have you ever heard of this? World According to Briggs is kind of like these little top 10 list things, and it's a gimmick. But it's kind of neat because they highlight these little towns throughout the, like the top 10 small towns in Florida or something like that. And it's kind of like usually 15-minute videos, and he's kind of a good little, he's a statistician, he's from Portland, probably also hard left, but he does really good videos, and he does some interesting insights into how much the crime is, what the cost of real estate is. So recommend that. Okay, so next I'm going to get into, well, while we're doing that, let's talk about more entertainment, not travel. Entertainment channels that I like. And of course, you all know that I'm a strongman fan. And of course, my buddy Brian Shaw, should have worn my Shawstrength shirt, but I wore it last time, so I didn't have it being in the washing machine. But Shawstrength has a channel just called Shawstrength. And he's really funny, and he's great personality, very smart guy. And it's funny because he's such a giant. He's 6'8", 450. He's a huge guy, and very, very fun. I love his channel. In fact, I'd love to interview him on my channel, but I'm not big enough. He's like a big, big deal. I mean, he's the greatest strongman of all time. And he just retired. In fact, I flew out. If you remember, I went out to Colorado, got to see Andrew Brank out there. And when we flew out to Colorado, I spent some time with Mr. Branca, but I also spent some time with Alicia Brooks, Kenyon's her last, and over in Colorado. And we went to the Shaw Classic, the last strongman event that he ever competed in, and he won the Strongest Man on Earth title. He won the whole thing. He puts it on. It's called the Shaw Classic. Really neat. So Shawstrength, and there's a really funny, if you want to just check it out, get a little taste of it. He's got a great sense of humor. He just did one like, well, the funniest one I think I've ever seen was him and a guy named American Monster. What's his name? He did this one where they eat this chip, this hot chip, and it was like a contest who can eat the chips. And it was really pretty funny. Them, and then they had this like chicken, this soup with this like flaming mouth chicken. But he does all kinds of things. They did something where it was another eating challenge where they went to McDonald's and ate the Lizzo meal, and it was like 95 hamburgers and 50 chicken nuggets, or 95 nuggets and 10 cheeseburgers and 4 drinks. And they had, the two guys had to eat as much as they could, and it was just so many things. Yeah, the ghost pepper chip. That's it. Go to Shawstrength. He's got they do these challenges like where his wife and him compete. And she's pretty athletic too, but they'll balance the weights for age. And then if he loses, he has to do something that she wants. And he made her get into the ice tub. Oh, it was really it's amazing they're still married. And then when he lost one of the challenges, she made him do a body waxing, a full body waxing, which is insane because he's a giant hairy guy. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, he'll eat 10,000 calories in one day when he was in training. That's how much they eat, the giant strongman. Okay, so I got more. I got lots of stuff here, lots of good channels. So we've got entertainment. There's also, if you like strongman, there's a guy named Big Loz, Loz, Big Loz, who's kind of the probably the main guy that follows it, that follows all this. Right now, there's currently the Magnus v. Magnuson strongman competition's free, being broadcast free. It's a 3-day show in Iceland, and tomorrow is the last day, and you can watch back. And they do. It's kind of it's a smaller, more primitive contest run by Magnus v. Magnuson, where they're out there like lifting big rocks and lifting the rock over their head and lifting. It's fun to watch, and I don't know, I just like it because it's individualized, right? It's not like a team sport. It hasn't been corrupted. So let's see. Music stuff. there's a guy named Rick Beato. Have you ever heard Rick Beato? He is a record producer who puts these channels, and he'll interview fascinating people. He'll interview Pat Metheny, great interview. He interviewed Peter Frampton. He interviews Marty Friedman from Megadeth. He just interviewed Yngwie Malmsteen. And he also does all kinds. He has an ear training course. Believe me, if you watch his videos, you'll see what he pushes because he sells all this other stuff. But Rick Beato has a lot of content that's really good. Highly recommended. And then another one is, yes, Led Zeppelin. Okay, KLI. JCM dash, it's Led Zepp Stories, Led Zeppelin Stories. So Zeppelin's like my favorite band of all time, right? And I've listened to it so much that I hardly ever listen to it because I love it so much. It's just great, you know. But JCM, I'll tell you, that guy is an obsessive super fan. He knows, I can't even believe it because I'm a pretty big, that's like my number one band, and I love music, as you guys well know, right? And this guy, he knows so much. He is so much about Led Zeppelin. He'll do these like 3-hour videos on the writing of the album Presence, you know, and he does these tour breakdowns. And if you like Led Zeppelin, if you're an obsessive and you love that band, you should check out JCM, Led Zeppelin Story, because I've learned more about my favorite band than I've ever. It's like, and he'll pull out these audios of concerts that I've never heard, even though they existed, in videos, and oh my goodness. So if you're a Zeppelin fan like me, and there are a lot of them, okay, so let's talk about some other stuff. So let's talk about when I was growing up, and when my son was growing up, I should say, we really pushed math, right? I mean, and there's an art, again, Prepare, the Handbook for Individual Freedom. There is a chapter about taking control of education. So I practice what I preach. This is a lot of this is about my philosophy of life and how I see life, right? So and education, taking control of your child's education is one of them. So if you have a kid, you're growing them up, teach them. Well, and you're watching a lot of like YouTubes, right? Okay, well, you could watch lawyers like me, which is great. You can watch Jordan Peterson, you can watch those guys, right? But we really emphasize science. And one thing, science is, it's STEM is really, as everybody knows, there's a lot of good STEM careers. So make it fun. Make it fun. All right. So here's some science related videos that I really enjoy, that I watched when Stephen was growing up, my son, and that you can watch also, that will give you some appreciation for sciences. The first one is called, is a fellow named Anton Petrov. Anton Petrov. He's Anton Petrov, Petrov. And he is a school teacher. I think he has some Russian background, but he lives in Korea. He speaks English, though. So English speaker. And he's like, hello, wonderful person. He's got this real positive attitude. He's a really neat guy. Had some tragedy pretty recently, but he still puts out videos, educational videos. And what he does is he talks about the latest scientific discoveries out there on science, mostly astronomy, but physics and astronomy. So like, we launch all these big telescopes, right? The James Webb Space Telescope. We launch all these, and then you never hear about it. You go, oh yeah, that's good. No, but he takes these reports and all this scientific work and puts it in, just really teaches it to us, and says, look at what this latest photo we got from this James Webb Space Telescope. Like today, he was talking, and look what we're learning, and here's some more questions. He just has these short, maybe 15-minute videos on astronomy that are well worth watching. And I would say that I like astronomy, and I've always been interested in that, the sciences. And he really does a great job of, first of all, kind of like being a friend, of just being very cool. But, and you watching those, like you're watching them, because there's some crazy science guys, aren't there? Like, what is this guy, the science guy, Bill Nye, the science guy? He's like a propagandist. I don't want to see propaganda in my stuff, right? So check out Anton Petrov, not a propagandist, hard sciences, but giving you insights into some amazing work that's being done in astronomy. Along that same lines, periodic videos. Okay, has anybody seen periodic videos? Now, this is a chemistry related. It's from, I think, University of, the University of Nottingham. It's in central England. I'm not sure. It's a university in central England. And there's this guy, and he's got this big, crazy white hair. And he's really funny. And boy, and what they've done is the object was to come through and do every element and do a video on every element, starting with hydrogen, helium, how far is it? Lithium, all, oxygen, carbon, uranium. And he does this series, and so every element, they're working through them. I mean, they've done a lot of them. And they'll have a video on each one, and they're very entertaining, very accessible. And he's a really neat, he talks with his hands, and he's a theorist. And he'll also do things like, one of the most amazing things in all of humanity, I'd say the greatest scientific revelation in all of humanity, I believe, would be Mendeleev's discovery of the periodic table. And that was a super, oh, look at Trish. See there? Well, I'm not done yet. We're still working through them. Maybe you can put this in the chat. I'll put this, you've assembled these. Thank you, Trish. You assembled them, and I'll put them on the video, and so that people can cheat, right? Take notes, right? These are important. Yeah, so periodic videos, check that out. It's very entertaining about the elements. Really, and you learn. It's science, it's chemistry, it's not political. Yeah, Mendeleev's discovery, and he does a whole thing about going and visiting Mendeleev's room and how he put that together, the insights, and how amazing that insight, and what a brilliant man Mendeleev was. So highly recommended periodic. Now, in the pure math area, listen, how can pure math be fun? I don't know. Well, there's a science channel, there's a math channel called Numberphile. Numberphile. Have you ever heard of Numberphile? It's really cool. The thing you can tell is they always have this big sheets of like brown cheap paper, and they use these big markers, and they'll do these math equations and do all these little math puzzles, and they have guest sort of mathematicians, and they make math really fun. The enthusiasm by which they promote math is just infectious. And if you watch these things for entertainment, you don't really have to follow the math. Like this one time they tried to print out pi to some ridiculous degree, and they rolled it out onto an airplane runway. Not all of them are like this, but they ran it out like on a runway down to, and it's like, look here, and they ran down the thing, and it's like, look here at position 2,500. Look, there's this 686868 or some like sequence that they're like, look at this, like out of just nowhere, because the pi is infinite and it's random. But how is it that this sequence, like this predictable sequence, is so far down? And they show it. There's all, and they tour the pi number as in like how far they know. It's really kind of neat. But Numberphile, there's all kinds of fascinating little puzzles and questions, and it's really a very, very good channel. Yeah. Okay. So Floatplane says that all of Brady Heron's channels are great. Periodic videos, Numberphile, Unmade Podcast. I don't know Unmade Podcast, so you're going to educate me. I'm going to write that down. Unmade Podcast. Okay. So here's another one that's a lot more entertainment and less. Those other ones are more science, but it's still good and scientific and more engineering focused, I'd say. And that's something called Megaprojects. Megaprojects is entertainment. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on like fighter planes, which history guy, I always watch like the latest F-15 video or something, right? But check out Megaprojects, entertainment, like the great engineering projects. And they did this one on this tunnel that they wanted to build between, tunnel between, was it Scotland and Northern Ireland, I think. It was like there was this tunnel, and it was ridiculous, and it was bloated, and it was a big English project. So they'll do things like that about projects that never got done, ones that did get done, the insane engineering behind them. So Megaprojects is a good one for engineering. Math one was called Numberphile. Numberphile. All right, now here's another one, and this one is my history. I never talk history. I got to do some History Channel stuff, don't I? But there's people out there that do it so much better than me. And the best guy for history out there, as far as I'm concerned, of course, I'm a World War II buff, and I like modern American military history, especially World War II, is something called Mark Felton Productions. Mark Felton Productions. It's MarkFelton Productions. This guy is a living, walking, living, breathing example of why the PhD is overrated. Because he does not have a PhD. I think he's working on it or he's getting it or whatever, but he does these videos that are so well researched about World War II, and you will learn a lot. And some of them are super obscure, and some of them are more grand, right? And and he'll ask all these questions, and like, for example, that fascinating stories at the end of the war, what happened at the bunker, and how did Himmler meet his end, and and the Nuremberg trials, or just there's so many little things that he does, like that he did one of the beer hall putsch recently, and then he'll go to the present day beer hall. And Mark Felton Productions, you got to check him out. He is phenomenal. So that's another one. So that's pretty much my list. I have one more little side add-on because I know you guys have children and you want to help them with sciences, and you're not a scientist or a mathematician like me, but there are so many good, valuable resources on the internet. Right. And so Float Pan says practical engineering on YouTube is great for engineering. But I will say that there's something called Khan Academy, Khan Academy. And you don't hear about it as much. When my son was growing up, it was wonderful. However, if you want somebody to really master mathematical subjects in an organized way, sign your child up for Khan Academy. And we would, of course, pay our style, whatever, either in cards or whatever. But let me show you what Khan Academy is about. Because this one, if you don't know about this, you should have your child on this thing as much as possible. So here's Khan Academy, see? And you go here like math, early math reviews, second grade, third grade, fourth, all the way. Algebra 1, geometry. So like, let's look at second grade math, right? And then what happens is you achieve these little boxes when you do a unit, right? So here's the thing, okay, 13, right? And then you say, all right, check. Well, I got it working. It gives me a little feedback. And then what happens as you go through this, you check off these little boxes, and these little boxes give you rewards, and you complete the whole second grade by completing these boxes. It's a very organized, methodical way of going through math, making sure your child doesn't miss out because you got a bad teacher. So that's one of the things I'm very concerned about, like people missing something because they have a teacher. So get your kid to do, when you're doing second grade, have them do Khan Academy as a supplementary thing. It's not, the problem in America is not that we work our kids too hard. It's that they are bored and they have and they get off. So build it right. Do Khan Academy. It's really great. And you can homeschool off of Khan Academy up to a point. There was a point at which my son left me in the dust and I was no longer able to do 10 plus 3, right? So let me see. What else? We got any more Rumble rants? I think that's pretty much what I got for tonight. Boy, it's 9:05. See, it always runs about an hour. It's a good TV show you're watching here, the Steve Gosney Show. So I should do my little plugs at the end, right? I don't know. Should I? I don't know. You know what to do. SteveGosney.com, all my books, whatever you're interested in. Oh, I would kind of like, Sonny Tanner. Okay, so she asked a question. So yes, you're gonna Trish screenshot this. Okay, is this Here's this question right here. I think you're talking about this book, right? Death Penalty Debates, Net Positive or Net Negative. Who wants to answer? Who wants to tell Sonny Tanner? And I will say that I support Mr. DeSantis generally. I will vote for the Republican nominee probably. But I will say that I very, very strongly disagree with him on his death penalty stance, right? And why that is, the thing is that I don't just come to that willy-nilly. This book is a comparison of the positives and the negatives behind the policy debate of the death penalty, as well as examples of each side. I'm not shortchanging anybody's argument in this book. I don't know if who all here has read this, who can tell Sonny about what I think. But, I lay out the issues as strongly as I can on both sides for you to decide which side you land on. If you have an open mind and you want to make a reasoned decision and not one that's meant to polarize or antagonize or inflame your passions, but instead make a reasoned decision on the best policy, that's the book you need to have to really weigh it for yourself. And you may weigh all the issues and consider all the sides and come out differently than I did. I mean, for example, I'm Catholic and very pro-life generally, and that has a big impact. But you may not. That may have very little impact on your thinking. So you may balance and weigh the two sides differently than I do. And that book also contains within a challenge that if I don't fairly and adequately address your favorite argument, then I want you to send me an email so that I can incorporate your criticisms or your strengths, the things that you think I left out or shortchanged you, so I can incorporate that and make that book better, because that book is supposed to summarize all that. And I wrote that because I needed to clear out all the public policy stuffs from the death penalty legal stuff, which is what I have to argue before the Florida Supreme Court, as opposed to public policy arguments, which is up to the legislature and our political leaders, right? So that was a good question. See there, you got. So what was it? Where was I? I was trying to wrap it up here. Trying to think what else we got. I think we're good. Brucey may be a little delayed. West Virginia, I'll be there Monday, November 20th, 8 p.m. Hampton Inn. See me at the bar. We'll hang out. We'll talk. Send me an email if you're thinking about showing up. And let's see. If you haven't gotten Brucey, I know I did want to kind of poll, because you are all my best supporters and my friends, especially you guys in chat. And this is completely, I don't usually ask you all some advice, and I reserve the right not to listen to any of y'all. But I'm thinking about doing a soft cover version of Brucey. The reason is because it would probably price out at about $18 a copy. Brucey right now is hardcover only, right? Hardcover only, and it's because it's a children's book, right? And it's all this high quality paper, but it's a $9 extra feature to have hardcover, right? Now I want to have this book to be passed on from generation to generation. That's the purpose. And so I designed it this way, hardcover. But I thought, is the $7 or the $8 or whatever it is extra, like would people really, if they're going to buy it, I mean, 25 is not that much money, right? But it is. Then again, there's people that want to buy it. Give them a soft cover option. I'm just trying to, what do you think about that? Because I kind of like the fact that it's all hardcovers. It's more complex for me to have to do a soft cover. But if I have to reorder, I was thinking about maybe I'd do a soft cover version for 18. What do you think? No to the soft cover. It doesn't make any difference to me. It would just be an option, but it would be more complicated. And I kind of want to have, this is special to me. I mean, it's not something that I'm very happy with the way it came out, and I'm pleased with it, and I want you to have the best. And it's precious to me, and I wanted you to feel it's precious too. And there's something about a hardcover that feels more precious, and I think see, I'm answering my own question, aren't I? I think I'm going to stick with the hardcovers. I guess that's the answer. Yeah, hardcover. Kids wreck soft covers, right? Yeah, yeah. It's a $9 option. So I'd price it probably 18 if I was going to do a soft cover. Um, yeah, people buy the cheaper options. So hardcover's better. I agree, and especially this book, because like these other books are sort of workbooks and handbooks and stuff. So it's the hardcover issue. Like I only give hardcovers. Like if I go to the meet and greet, if you want me to bring a hardcover, I do offer hardcovers at meet and greets only, or really special people that sell me lots of books like Legal Vices. But Valhalla, though, why does he get books? I don't know. Why is he on my good boy list? He should be on my bad boy list. I should be scolding him. Anyways, enough of that. But I think that Brucey is a different category, the children's book. Yeah, okay, KLI, I got it. Which book available? Melstar. Melstar, are you not, you don't know about, come on, you're joking, right? Just do what you like. Thank you, Rosalind. I think that I'm going to stay hardcover. So these will be mailed out. I'm really hoping that I know they're going to be mailed from Ohio to my house on Monday. Whether they arrive by Thursday morning, see, this is the problem. They don't get here by Thursday morning, I'm on vacation, and then they won't get mailed out until the next following week. So I'll try my best if they get here in time. If not, you will get them the following week. All right. Yes. So KLI, get them. This is you're going to get a Christmas gift for your loved ones, right? You can go there and buy a box from Walmart, a piece of plastic, right? I like my glossy stock. You don't like my glossy stock, Excited Utterance? Look at this. Is this wonderful? Look at that. This is 100-pound paper here. Full color throughout. The whole thing is full color. Look at there, Brucey. I know my two favorite panels in this, I think I've come to realize. You know, it's interesting. You write these things, you don't even know what you're writing. God really blessed me with this. I love this panel. And I had him put the Bethlehem star here, right? Because this is Brucey at his darkest moment, right? And it's one night a man saw a sad little dog shaking in the dark. Brucey gathered up his courage and said, "Will you help me?" And Brucey got locked in a cage, right? And he was scared. But it's sort of like all of us and God. At our darkest moment, we have to ask God for help. And sometimes that help doesn't come in the form that we want. We don't want to be locked up in a cage, right? So I love that one. And then I love this one too. If you want to hear, I read the full book on if you go to my stevegosney.com, I do a full read through with illustrations and all. But this is sort of just, I couldn't stop because I wanted to give you a full read through. So definitely go check that out. Yeah, 3-year-old, perfect. Okay, there's Brucey. It's meant to read paragraphs. There's not a lot of books that teach paragraphs. Well, not that one. Wait a second. This page, next page. They're both a little yellow. So I love this page because this one has this little statement. Many of the dogs barked and jumped, trying to draw the attention of the family. Brucey could not compete with their energy. Brucey gazed down sadly. Maybe I'll get overlooked, as I am not as strong as loud as the others, and I only have one eye. Who would want a one-eyed dog? Well, we're all one-eyed dogs. We're all humbled, right? We're all imperfect. We're all limited. But what doesn't mean we have the purpose. Like we were talking Valhalla, we were talking about, you had the friend who's got the leg missing. Oh, like who would love somebody without a leg, right? Or maybe we aren't as pretty as we want to be, handsome. Whatever our limitation is, we all have limitations, especially children. Children are very anxious about their imperfections to their parents and to their peers, self-conscious and worried. And we all have that. But see, Brucey finds his way. He thinks who would want a one-eyed dog because that's what he thinks he is, right? But he's so much more. He finds that it doesn't. his ability to love and give love and his purpose in life is not affected in the least by his limitation. Yes, so Mel Star is asking, you are a new follower. If you don't know about Brucey, the One-Eyed Wonder Dog, yes, it's only available from me at stevegosney.com. And I'll tell you why, but I'll show you the okay, while you're here, I'll show you where it is to get it, because we're all here. And see, I'm here for you. Present share screen. We go. Here we go. Share. So here's my webpage, stevegosney.com, right? You go up here to shop, and you go down there. There's Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog. This is the Brucey collection. You can click on there, and that's how you buy it. But then here, like, see, here's some panels. There's the panel that I was telling you about with a star. And then there's the panel where he says, who would want a one-eyed dog? And then this is where I read it. So you can click there, and that's the reading. So you can see the whole thing read front to back. And it has the full Serenity Prayer printed in it. So check out the read-through. Okay, well, glad to have you, Melstar. We got a new person. Let's all welcome Melstar. So we're all happy and positive over here. We do our own thing. You know, it's like you never know what the topic's going to be tonight. See, did you expect this? You just thought it was going to be a meet and greet, right? All right, meet and greet in Charleston. All books are available at Steve Gosney. Oh, why don't I sell on these other things? Okay, here's why. I'm not that big. I'm just a little guy. This is just me. I have a real job. I have two real jobs. I mean, my first job is my death penalty appellate job at the public defender's office, right? The second job is I teach for Andrew Branca's American Law courses, which is right now we're teaching criminal procedure. So that's kind of a side job, right? Then, of course, I'm a husband and a streamer, but I write for fun and I write for purpose. And each one of these books has a story behind it. That'd be kind of a neat little series. I could tell you that. I think you guys kind of follow me a little if you'll know the story behind each book, but each book has its own little niche. But the thing is, so I don't sell that many books. Really, I'm excited because Brucey's now break even. So I'm happy with that. Although every time I ordered a bunch of books, I'm like, will that be the last book I ever sell? And then I got a big pile of books. Like I've got a whole bunch of ideas and answers in law, but I only have like 10 of these left. So I've got to order some more of these. And every time I'm ordering, I'm like, ooh, it pains me because now I have to sell more books. And then they get low. So it's this inventory control problem. But for every book I'd sell, okay, like I don't think Amazon, for example, if I sold on Amazon, who goes there and like who would ever find any of my books on Amazon because of Amazon? They know about my books because they're listening to me on the different channels or on my channel or wherever. And everybody, actually, Brucey's people are loving it. And I think it's my heart is really in Brucey. I love it. It's one of my favorite inspirations. It was really God was blessing me with that. And I'm planning, and that's a good idea. I'm thinking about it. And when I'm thinking about it, that means it's getting close to happening. I'm thinking about it. That's a very good question. I have my difficult dog lined up. So my difficult dog will be probably next Christmas book, unless I come up with some new great Brucey book. But so yes, piling up a bunch of books like that sucks. But the thing is, for every one I would sell, who would go there? Like, who would buy Prepare, the Handbook for Individual Freedom, Develop the Ideal Christian Mindset? Who would go to Amazon and find this and buy it? Okay, I don't know. I don't know if anybody. I don't ever look for books that way. I find books through like John C. Wright. I find it through other means. So for every book that I sell, I would have to sell 17 at Amazon in order to make the same money that I'd make on one book sold from stevegosney.com. And in all honesty, it's a lot of work. I mean, I don't do this is just for fun. I do this for fun, and I do it because I have something to say. In fact, that's a very important point that I want you to know about my writing. Every one of these books is because I have something to say. I mean, the first one was set up because Branca was like, why don't you have something to grift? Because I'd go on all these legal shows, these legal streams, and I'm like, I don't have it to sell anything. I got a bunch of law review articles. But I wrote the law review articles because I got something to say. And that's Ideas and Answers in Law. That's all my collection of all my law review articles, right? And I have something to say about the law. Death penalty debates, I got something to say about the issue. Prepare is my philosophy. My summer friend is about, about all our growing into, leaving childhood behind, and our kind of friends that we gather when we're young, and then we kind of grow apart and lose touch with them, and how to reconcile that and how to deal with that, because we all have those friends we've lost, in sort of a lighthearted growing up in Ormond Beach true story. And Bruce Lee was inspiration. I wanted to write a children's book that had Christian themes, that wasn't hit you over the head with Jesus kind of themes, but instead Christian themes through the eyes of a little innocent dog. So, yeah, okay, so Sonny Tanner. Okay, wait, this one's funny. Bruce bites Steve when he listens to Ginger. Yeah, here's my ginger hat. I guess I can wear my ginger hat, right? Sonny Tanner, how do you feel about our governor terminating state attorneys who won't enforce the death penalty because they're sworn to, which is true, just go into private practice? That's a very good question. Maybe that's a good question for some other stream. I don't know. Don't know about that. That's a good question. Because on the one hand, I'm very much against the death penalty. So I'm happy that state attorneys are elected and don't want to enforce death penalty. On the other hand, it is the state of Florida. It is the law. So are they duty bound to enforce it? But see, death is never required. In no case is the death penalty ever the required sanction. So the first thing you have to understand is that death penalty is reserved only for the worst of the worst, and only for first-degree murder, which is defined in a very particular way. This is outlined in death penalty debates. And even those first-degree murders, assuming that they are convicted of first-degree murder, right? Then they need to then go through a second trial, which is to show that the aggravators outweigh the mitigators in that particular case. And only the jury can then impose the death penalty. So a second jury panel in phase is a decision the jury makes. Is it life in prison without parole, or is it death? That's the only decision they have to make. And in no case must a jury impose the death penalty, or is the death penalty ever required? So if you think about it in that way, for a state attorney's office to say that we will not seek the death penalty is not really giving up a lot. And in all honesty, if you, yes, this is true, but no state attorney has taken that step yet. That's one of the battles that our office will have to fight soon. And yes, I sign at this point. I'm signing all of my books. And if you want a book personalized, I can personalize. But this is going on. Yeah, I appreciate the questions. I love the interaction. This is what I needed here. And Nacho Kitty. Okay. Oh, I got another book. So I've got multiple books kind of in the horizon. Did I tell you about this already? I think I did. But one of them is a collection of school stories for elementary school students, and or it might be a children. I don't know. It depends how it unfolds. I've got a book that will be a compilation book of short stories for elementary school children's. And so that's one. I don't know. I got so much going on. But one of the stories is called Jerry the Cat. You want to see? Oh boy, if any of you guys are still hanging out, see, this is the bonus round. You want to see? I got a picture here for you. Okay. I'm going to show you something. This is only because you're staying up with me and hanging and we're having fun. Let's see here, my live stream. No, wait, where was it? No, it's in my books. Sorry, I've been working on this stuff. See, I'm working on it. Should I show you this? What do you think, guys? Stories for children. Jerry the Cat. Okay, yeah, I'm going to. Boy, this is embarrassing. All right, but I'm going to show it to you because you're committed and you're here, right? Are you guys here? Are you still here? Are you still watching? Is anybody still here? Yeah, believe me, this mind is never idle. Okay. Present, share screen. I will show you. Okay, ready for this? This is called Jerry the Cat. T is still here. So Jerry the cat was my cat that I grew up with for 18 years. I never did not know him when I went off to college. He passed away when he got. So you ready? So this one it's coming. This is part of my short stories, I think. I don't know, but see that? That's Jerry the cat. See there? What do you think? That's the real Jerry the cat, the greatest cat to have ever lived. 18 years, and he'd come up and snuggle. He loved to snuggle. That's me. That's funny. Anyways, that's my cat. Yeah, my son's really allergic to cats too. A pawn came here. So I'm thinking I have a book in my head about Jerry the cat. I've got it. The thing is that I like to have a theme though. So there's the stories, but the stories have to have purpose. And there has to be an overarching meaning. And sometimes that's a little hard to discern. Like in Summer Friend, you know who helped me with this is my mama, my loving mama. Because I wrote this story and I had this story and it was sitting around. I wrote it for my son, but I'm like, I don't really know what this means. And I was talking about it with my mom. And she kind of wrapped it up in a way that, like here, I'll read you. This is the reflection, the last chapter of The Summer Friend. Like, what does this mean? It says, the hurt of friendship's loss is softened by the passage of time. New friendships grow and some wither. But the moments of adolescence are like the afternoon Florida rain showers on a summer day, passing us by with drama and impact. While surfing quickly waned, my love of music continued. Life intrudes into sentiment and takes precedence. I have moved on. But there is something about our middle school years that will always be part of who we become. Right? So that's kind of, there's a reason Jesus spoke in parables, because stories and how we walk through life, the things that go on, the story of our life, is reflected in the heavens. The morality is at a transcendent level. Like Brucey's just a one-eyed dog. You can look at him and say, oh, well, he was adopted from the pound. He got adopted by a family, and it's a meaningless story, right? But it has a much more profound meaning, and it's all based on the Serenity Prayer. So any books that I do that are like this have an overarching meaning to them that are more profound and more Christian. I'll say that's why my difficult dog is done and written. And if I don't come up with anything else, likelihood low, but if I don't come up with anything else, and this book is a success, which it's almost already there. I mean, it's a break even right now. So if they keep selling, then I'll do My Difficult Dog, which has to do with our being sinful and God forgiving us and accepting us even though we're sinful, just like we accept a difficult dog. Jackson, you've seen Jackson, right? He's difficult. All right, I think that's good. I think we've covered our topics for tonight. See there, I've got all my little notes. See the notes there? This is what I do, yellow stickies. All my favorite, you see that? Get focus. There we go. See there? Those are all my favorites. All right. Accomplished. All right. God bless you all. Good night. And I'm not sure when I'll stream next. I'll be honest with you. I've got a lot to do between now and then. Everybody, I get invited. I will be on Nick Swedish labor lawyer's stream, Staroff's stream on Sunday, and we're going to talk the Eileen Wuornos serial killer, which was in my area, my jurisdiction. I know all the players, so I may be able to comment and provide a little running highlight. He's going to start that stream on tomorrow night, but I'm not sure when else I will be streaming. It may be quite a while. So thank you for everything, and please do go get Brucey for your Christmas child, and only at stevegosney.com, right? Flux, you got it. All right. God bless you. Good night.